Loud noises. A lot of sucking action. That's whatever.
Getting those stains out. Those. Welcome, CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowry Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
We're cousins.
Yeah, I was stating that definitively. Like, yes, we are cousins.
We are. It is confirmed. Our dads are related. Our brothers. We are cousins. Saw your dad tonight on the Zoom thing. Your dad's our family Zoom thing. He's there every week.
Yes.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Now that they switched it, I am not. We've missed it.
I think you were on last week,
now.
or no, you were on a couple weeks ago. The week we weren't on, you were on. You're just avoiding me. You're like, is Adam going to be on there? I already see his face every week. I don't want to see him on the Zoom.
We're having technical difficulties.
Doesn't
Larry
have a
like
podcast?
Yeah.
Did he even just say the word off? Like what? But yeah, it's so the 6 o'clock time doesn't work for you as well as good.
It's like right at the end of
dinner, bedtime,
and a dinner, start of like calming kids down.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, this is episode 148. I'll get off of that Zoom talk. Our family. I mean, we are cousins. We got to talk about that kind of stuff. But
not family. Everybody good? Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right.
My family? Your family? My family? Is that what you're asking?
I mean, my family's good. Your family good?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. My parents just took the boys for the weekend, which was pretty sweet because finally got like adult time, which is I was supposed to have a button up, wasn't I? Shit, I completely forgot. No. Oh, damn it.
All I want to do is bang, bang, bang.
Dang it. Why didn't I even think of it?
I just want bang, bang, bang. I don't want to know your name. I just want bang, bang, bang.
You know what? My in-laws also took the kids for most of a day.
Oh, wait.
I don't want relationship. I just want bang, bang, bang. I don't want
I was this actually sounds dirtier than I thought it would be, but I was cleaning carpet all day.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds oh boy.
Dirty carpet.
Like
Gotta go.
Loud noises. A lot of sucking action.
Getting those stains out. Those.
Whew.
All right. This is
all right.
Turned pretty good here.
I'm gonna drink my beer.
I don't have a beer today because we had adult time this weekend, so I had wine yesterday and mixed drinks the day before. So I am currently drinking water, not because of gout. No gout toe.
Just hungover.
Nope, not hungover. Just we drank all our booze.
And it's Sunday.
Yeah,
no, I guess that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore for Minnesota. What do you got there?
I am drinking. It's called KC Beer Co. BIER, and this is going to be a Bavarian style wheat ale, which is always nice, unfiltered, Hefeweizen. And I got this. My brother drove through Kansas City, saw our cousin Chris down there, and they gave me this one, and then I got another one sitting in the fridge that might make it until next week.
Nice.
So.
Wait. So did you see your brother Grant since they got back?
Yeah.
Okay, you saw him this week.
They got back Monday night. I saw him Tuesday.
Nice.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one.
Sweet.
I mean, hefts are pretty solid, and I like the style a lot. So, yeah, that's good.
Very nice.
Very
clean. Today, what are we doing on our episode? What is our... Well, we have our one spec. We have our Stump the Smith Savant. Hopefully, I can stump you a little more than the first flavor text.
I don't think you should feel bad about it.
Well, I spent all that time coming up with the questions and all that, and you get it off of one, and it was... I want to stump you.
Should I fake it?
Fake
for
it.
You? Like, I know this. What is it? Give me some more clues.
Yeah. I guess I got to get you got to get one every once in a while. But what is our main segment this week? What are we doing?
We're going to do it just the tips.
Yeah.
And it's just... So one person left a comment that they liked the beginning of our episode last week. And we are starved for any interaction. And if somebody says they liked something,
we're like, okay, well...
we could do that. We could do more of that. So we're going to talk about cars that we want to trade in.
When to trade in, specs. Yeah,
how,
when you... everything.
We're doing a whole... Everything that you should be learning over multiple podcasts, we're going to fit that into about 20, 30 minutes.
Exactly. But hey, it's a lot of, I have about a page and a half of, at least a page and a half of notes. And I normally don't write that much down when I just really put keynotes, and I have a lot on this. So, and I know you do too, because we also are going to talk about Card Sphere. We've talked about some of this stuff in bits and pieces before, but I think that's been over a year now that we talked about it. We bring it up here and there about Card Sphere and about buy list stuff and selling on eBay, TCG, whatever. So we're going to kind of go over that whole thing of it. So what else? Anything interesting happened for you this week? Like, oh yes. How was seeing the lights, Christmas lights? Didn't you guys do that this week?
Yeah, they have like a light show, and I'm sure people have seen it on YouTube where you have like Christmas lights on people's houses, and then there's music, and it's all timed up with the lights. Well, this was we went to servers, I don't remember, and it's all timed up, and it's big, and you're paying like $25 to drive through it.
How long was like the wait to get in and all that? Was it?
We got there right away because we're smart, and we just knew, we start going to bed pretty early, so it's like, well, let's get there on time, do it. So we went around twice.
Oh, nice. They allowed. Did you have to pay for it twice?
It was starting to be a line.
Okay. Did you have to pay for it twice, or do you just...
No.
Okay.
You just have the ticket, and you have a time slot. So we had from like 5 to 6:30. So we could have gone through as many times as we wanted
in that hour.
Yeah.
Or could you just keep?
Yeah.
5 to 6:30.
Yeah, you get like our ticket was on the phone, and they beeped it, and so it would probably tell if we were past our time.
Ah.
We didn't push it because our kids were starting to cry from being too tired.
So it was pretty sweet though. Overall, good experience.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you got kids and you're feeling cooped up, you're sitting in a car doing it, I think it's well worth the time and money.
Nice. Sweet. Yeah.
What'd you guys do?
Well, I was going to say, I told you that my parents took the boys this weekend.
Yeah.
Driving down there today to pick them up. I might have mentioned this last week. It's weird driving for me. Like now I'm used to, if I am going to drive, it's to like Target, which is like 5 minutes away, or Menards, which is 5 minutes away. And that's maybe once or twice a week. This was a 45-minute drive down there. And I'm like, man, this is exhausting. Like, I'm just not used to driving now. It's really weird. And then by the time we were driving home, I was tired. Like, I couldn't keep my eyes open. I was like, geez, I am not used to doing this at all. You think it's the driving, or you're just hungover from all the booze? I was not hungover. I only had a bottle of wine, Lambrusco, last night. I was totally fine. I got some league games in.
You can always tell when Adam's lying when he goes like this. He's being very defensive.
No. What? Now you're just making stuff up. That's just my voice all the time. So then I'm lying all the time is what you're saying? Gosh. No, I'd tell you if I was hungover. Remember, I've had those days, our early podcast, I was like, oh, this sucks. I don't feel good. Let's have the not sharing with Adam beer that you used to bring me that I don't get anymore. Other than that, I did a Proxy Time video this week that pissed the hell off of me. God damn it. That sucked.
Awful.
Well, the video was fine. I actually got it so that I have like a little picture-in-picture, so you actually see me while I'm editing, so you can see all my stupid face reactions of me thinking, which isn't pleasant to look at. But I got it all done, and then, it wasn't loading into my video editor, and it wasn't even recognizing that I did it. And I'm like, what is going on? This is so frustrating. So it was an MKV file, just this is kind of a little too much information, but MKV files in Adobe Photoshop.
Sounds Russian to me.
Yeah, it needs MP3s, anything but MKV. So I was like, well, what the fuck? I've done this before. Why isn't it working? I figured out what happened. I uninstalled the OBS program, which is what you can do to record your screen, and reinstalled it because it wasn't working correctly. I don't know why over time that didn't work. So when I reinstalled it, you're supposed to change your video to an MP3 or MP4 file because it's initially in an MKV. So that's why it didn't work. And I'm like, shit. But in that time, I went back and I was going back to when I bought the Adobe, and I was like, okay, I just want to make sure if I uninstall Adobe, because I thought it was something was wrong with it. At the time, nothing was wrong with it. But so I was like, I want to go back to that old link and click it and make sure that it works. Well, I clicked it and it brought me to their site, and it had, I have Adobe 2019. It had 2020 and 2021. I was like, I don't know. This is the stupid part that I did. I was like, oh, maybe if I click this, it's going to update my version and I can play these videos. So I uploaded 2020, and then I went to load it, and I was like, where's your key code? I'm like, oh, I'll just use my 2019 because that'll work. Stupid. Put that in, and it's like, nope, doesn't work. And I was like, okay, that sucks. Whatever. So I went to try to wait. No, here's the next step. Then I went to YouTube. This is what I should have done first, and found a video like how to convert your MKV to an MP4. Did it in 30 seconds. This video was awesome. I was like, oh, sweet. Converted everything. Went to go load it into Adobe, and then my Adobe no longer works. It won't even open anymore. I can't pull up any of the videos that we've done before. It would start the loading thing, and the screen would never pull up. It would just turn off. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do? Now it doesn't even open. I can't even, because before it just wasn't recognizing MKV. Now it's not even opening any of the videos that we've done or any of that stuff. So I spent 5 hours trying to figure it out myself and trying to contact an actual person at Adobe. That's impossible because you have to just talk to an automated thing where you send a question and then it generates what words you use and send back a different answer. And I was like, God damn it. I want to talk to a person. And it's like, does this work for your computer? And I was like, no, I want to So it took me 2 days to finally get in contact with a person, and they took over my computer. And what he said, something, which I didn't realize could happen, something broke digitally in their file. When I downloaded the 2020 version, it broke the 2019 version because I was able to uninstall it and then re-download the 2019, but then it kept doing the same thing. It wouldn't load. But digitally, somehow it broke the loading mechanism for Adobe's Photoshop. And
that seems strange to me.
Yeah. So the dude went in there and just fixed some code. And I'm like, how does that happen? I mean, I don't get coding and all that. There's probably a bunch of people that are like, yeah, that can happen because they know code that are listening to this. But it just was weird to me that could happen with a digital thing, that it just completely broke it. Even when you erase the program and reinstall it, it was still broken. So they had to go in and do that. So that was my week.
That sounds like a blast.
I was probably too much information, and a lot of people were just checked out. Fast forward 5 minutes to get away from that.
Well, you can find us on YouTube if you want to hear us complaining about MPKs.
MKV.
I'm sorry, I didn't take notes on all of these abbreviations.
It's a quiz.
And what they meant.
So that's the problem when we're the people learning and editing and doing all our own stuff. We don't have anybody that are experts in this. So it was just anything that goes wrong.
I have an expert by the time I'm doing this stuff. I just call you.
Yeah, I know.
Adam.
That's half of what I do. I was like, okay, Larry, I got to learn it, and then I'm going to teach you how to do it, so then you can do it. Yeah, it's fun stuff. The great thing about it all, though, is YouTube is sensational because you can learn anything there basically, except for how to fix a fucking Adobe broken thing.
I'm sure you could figure it. Well, if you just didn't know what you're looking for, I'm sure they.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Fix code.
But yeah. Other than that, we did watch a pretty sweet movie. I highly recommend it, but it's Love and Monsters. Have you heard of that or whatever?
No.
It's the kid from it's that maze movie with the kids in the maze where they wake up and they're in the maze. Shit, what is it?
I know it, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to admit.
Is it Maze Runner?
I'm assuming so.
Yeah. So I
haven't seen those movies, but
he's in this. But it's have you ever watched like Zombieland? Probably not because it.
Yeah, I saw the first one.
Okay, it's like that. So it's like a comedy that's like in a apocalypse, kind of. It's not like a complete comedy, but it's
Maze Runner. What is it?
No.
Love and Monsters?
Love and Monsters. Yeah. Okay. So this doesn't give it away because this is like the first 5 minutes, but this is the premise of it is there's an asteroid coming to Earth and we blow it up with missiles, but all the radiation from the missiles rain down on Earth and makes all of our, this is the part that kind of loses me a little bit because I'm like, it doesn't make sense. But it makes all of our bugs and reptiles and all that stuff into these huge monsters that are, an ant turns into the size of a house or a frog turns into the size of a house.
Like all of them?
Like pretty much I guess if it was all of them, an ant, just one ant colony would be enough to destroy the world. But enough so that it kills 95% of the population and everybody else is living underground and all these insects and things are hunting humans down. And so then there's a love story with it. And that's where the Love and Monsters thing comes in. But it's pretty funny. It isn't gory. Like there are people that die, but they never show it. Like you never see a person's head get ripped off. It's either when a person gets their head ripped off, it's either in cartoon form or you don't really actually see it. So I was like, do you think the boys could watch this?
Probably
she's like,
not.
No, probably not. Well, did I tell you about we watched Jurassic Park? There's a cartoon series, like it's for kids on Netflix, and they kill people in that. And I was just like, "Whoa, what is going on?" Like it's for like
kill the guy.
But they do it like the T-Rex comes down and the person's going and then it shows the T-Rex like rubbing its belly, going yum. And it doesn't actually do it that dumb. But that's what I'm saying is they don't show the person getting eaten. They just show the action of it happening and then they're gone. And it's like. We were watching and I look at Drake and Zeke and I'm like, Cindy, do you think they got what just happened there? Yep, they did. They understood what happened.
T-Rex was just hungry.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, but anyways, I highly recommend that movie. It was fun. It was an enjoyable one. We ended up buying it instead of renting it because I like owning the movies because then I can just go back to it if it's a good one. And it has 90-something% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's when I buy it.
Okay.
So, all right. Let's get into the tags. You think so? Yeah?
No.
Let's do it. Let's start this episode. Okay, so we got new patrons this week. Who do we have this week, Larry?
God damn it.
3 of them. Did you cover it?
I'll do it. Do you always start off with the patrons?
Yeah, do it. Let's start off with patrons.
We have 3 new ones, as Adam has already said, but it's kind of stealing my lines. All right, so Alex Cook. Are you going to press? I thought you were going to press like the clapping button. You've done that in the past where it just kind of runs. Well,
I was just going to do it at the end. Welcome to the Meat Force. Okay.
Now Alex Cook is going to get his name said a couple more times.
Now you got to say everybody else's name.
Welcome to the Meat Force. Travis Williams.
Welcome to the Meat Force.
And Jesse Cracks MTG.
Welcome to the Meat Force. Well, I had said it like I was a pirate. Welcome to the Meat Force, you scallywag.
I mean, we're apparently a SpongeBob episode now, so that's
Patrick.
Okay.
I don't know how to do SpongeBob. If it was Mickey, I could do it, but not. Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys. Seriously, yep. We want to thank you guys, all you guys. 3 new this week.
7 new ones in the last 30 days from
That's-
what Patreon, like that's, although we've
awesome.
lost a couple, so we're still under 50.
We don't even remember what the goal was when we hit 50. I think I remember what it was.
I think
it was
a good idea.
yeah,
Ted was
I'm-
really excited about something that he had.
Yeah, he was making up stuff. He's like, "Don't we all get a new car?" It's like, "No, we're not Oprah. We're not." And you get a new car, and you get a new car.
Then
No,
we should
but,
get some commercial ad money in here. Heck yeah.
Seriously though, this with you guys, we did this for a year without even doing the patron stuff, and then we added that, got the Discord going because then we hit a goal with the patron stuff. Discord's been an awesome ad. Like, I love that we added that in there. But you guys donating to the show has made it so we can upgrade. Like, every penny that we have gotten from you guys goes back into the show, which is kind of what our plan was with it all. We're upgrading equipment, being able to get all these prizes away. Now we're going to have a new intro for our videos, which are starting. Like I said, Proxy Time is going to go up this week. It is happening. Actually, Proxy Time will probably coincide with this, and you will be able to, it will coincide with this. I'm going to have both of those done at the same time. You will be able to find that in the description below, but check out Proxy Time. We are able to get different things of promotion stuff. So really, thank you guys for all of that. But you can become a patron. Go to Patreon. $1 or more gets you into the Discord. Also, still can get in the Battle Box League. It's still not too late because we have until the 27th is when we start opening new packs, and the points system starts not over, but you get more points after the 27th. Also, if you donate a $5 or more, gets you the Proxies, which from Proxy of the Week. Free way to support the show. Check out YouTube, subscribe, like, and subscribe there. That's where you'll see our new videos happening, not to come. They are happening. We have our podcast is on there, how to make proxy video, Proxy Time, box openings, battle boxes. We haven't done those in a while. Battle boxes is going to be interesting to do, but we will probably be putting our league games up there from Cockatrice. And then also Lowry will be doing spotlight decks at some point. That's coming soon. I'll be going through his decks. Don't give me that surprised face. I already said the league games. You're like, shit. What? That's new to me. All right. And then you guys can check us out on Twitter. That's where you can see Proxy of the Week, Not Sharing with Adam. Also, Lowry has a pretty interesting new idea, I think, that we might start. Spotlight card. No. A spotlight card, maybe. I don't know.
I was just going to start throwing that on Twitter and the Discord.
Yeah. That's where I'm at, is on Twitter.
Was that okay? Sorry, I've zoned out at this point.
So if you've zoned out, everybody else is zoned out of me talking. Okay, so yeah, the spotlight card will be just cards that it's like the spotlight card of the week or something like that. Yeah.
So like there's bigger people that are doing the random card of the day or the week or whatever, and now we're all just gonna talk like this, and
this has turned into a pirate episode. Arr!
Let's regroup. Okay, so and I'm just like, well, I mean, they're doing random stuff. I'd much rather talk about like pet cards or
good cards
that don't see. I don't know if they're good or not, but just cards that I
interesting
like
talkers
for a while, yeah, and try and create some discussion. So, if you see it, say something, and everybody will stay safe. So,
what was that like? Everybody will stay safe.
I said, if you see something, say something.
Oh, gotcha. That was.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was good. All right. And then if you guys want to direct message us, you can do that there. And you can also direct message us by shooting us an email at CommanderSmiths@gmail.com. All right. That does it for the tags. It's time for everyone's favorite game show, Stump the Smith Savant. All right.
How old do you think the person was that's playing that, like,
trumpet stuff?
Accordion, organ in the background? I just imagine like an old church lady.
An old church lady. Yeah. All right. So we are doing Stump the Smith Savant. If you guys don't remember what this is, Lowry got 100% last week on this, but 100 points out of 100. What I am going to do is I'm going to read the flavor text of a card. Lowry will have about 30 seconds to make a guess or ask a question. It has to be yes or no question, basically. And if I say no to any of his questions, he loses 10 points. Every clue I give him is minus 5 points, and we go until Lowry gets the card. Best score was last week. He had 100. The week before was a 95er. He only needed one clue. So I do have a bonus this week if he gets it really quick. If
You're prepared now.
Yeah, got to make sure I have 2 of them. So, all right. So let's jump into this. All right. Here goes the flavor text. He has friends in places both high and low, and all seem to owe him favors.
Garth Brooks.
I thought you were actually making a guess. I was like, how are you getting it again?
Okay, so he has friends in high and low places, and they all owe him. No, I do. I know who it is.
Shit.
It's black, white, colorless
That
from
was one of the
Kaladesh.
clues. That was another clue. Fuck, he's getting it.
It's.
Damn it.
A legendary
No.
creature.
Yes,
Whenever,
he's getting it.
whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, they lose 2 life. You gain 2 life.
Oh, man, you're getting all my clues. Card features life gain, life loss, Kaladesh, creature
I know
type,
the card.
white, black. He just doesn't know the name.
Well, now that I have all the clues, I'm just gonna sit here and.
There are 2 clues I can give you. There's 2 clues left that I can give you, and that's it.
I know the card. It's not Barl. For some reason, I want to say that.
You have way more than 30 seconds because you're nailing all these clues. I'm like, shit. Okay, well, I'm going to let him work this out because he doesn't really need it.
It's a... Fuck.
Do you want me to give you...
Colorless.
Does it matter about the casting cost? Can you tell me what it's casting?
It's black, white, colorless.
Ah, damn it. Okay, so 1 clue left. Do you know
Power,
his creature
toughness,
type?
2/3.
Yes. Oh, shit. Okay. Well, do you know his creature type?
He is a human advisor.
Oh, fuck. All right. I have no clues left for you.
All right.
Now you have to get it.
I just get to go as long as I want. All right.
He has friends in places both high and low, and all seem to owe him favors. I can give you... It's just you're not knowing the name.
Yeah, that's...
You're not knowing the name. There isn't any way I can really give you the name. He recently spiked, not recently, but he went from a foil card under $3 to over 10, currently sitting at 5, so it's had a couple 10 spikes. This isn't any of the clues because you got all my clues that I have on here.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to, seriously, this is all the clues, and I'm just trying to help you out because I wouldn't be able to give you anything else.
So it's the last part of the name is console, right?
After the comma, it is.
Yeah. God, what is his GD name? Why did I just self-censor?
We don't swear on this podcast.
No, we're good boys. Thanks for listening, Grandma.
Okay. If I give you...
Does it sound like...
Well, I was going to give you... His first name starts with a K.
Comball.
Yeah? You got the next word.
It's console of...
Yeah, what's the last one?
God damn it. Comball, console of... What console of... This
I feel like I feel like I have to give it. Yeah, Comball Council of Allocation.
Yeah, there we go. Woo!
I'm giving you
sorry.
-5 just because I had to give you the K.
Yeah. No, you definitely. It's not perfect.
Oh, damn.
But
That
it
was
was
pretty
pretty
spot
quick.
on. You got every single one of my clues. Total CMC, multicolor, white and black, creature type, human advisor, Kaladesh. The last clue is card features life gain and life loss. You nailed all.
I had like all parts of the card in my head, and then just couldn't. Like the top name card just wasn't showing up.
So what made you figure out that card? Just because you've seen that flavor text and know it on that guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's I kind of figured. Okay, so the next one this is the bonus one. This one's, I would say, even easier than that one, but we'll see.
Oh, maybe I'll just know the name. All right.
Okay, I gotta zoom in on this because sometimes when I put it on the big screen here, it's a little tough to actually see this. Okay. All right, you ready?
Yes.
Snaking remnants of nature directed by a body of thought and progress. The oracles embody all that is Simic.
I mean, Coiling Oracle.
Fuck you. Oh, so that one was easy too. So
Yeah.
this is why we were talking
'Cause that's a
pre-show.
Snake Elf Druid.
Yeah. Yep.
And then it says
my
Oracle.
clues were I only had 4 clues on this because I knew it was gonna be pretty easy. Multicolor creature from Dissension, printed 4 Commander products. So that was kind of what I was. And then if you didn't get that, I was gonna start describing the picture. But this is why I was precast talking that one of the ideas is adding like 3 or 4 cards and seeing how many you can burn through and add up all your points. So this one you would have had 195 out of a possible 200. I'm at least every week going to have 2 cards because I need to find harder cards.
I mean, I'm assuming Combo was pretty tough for most people.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that. That's ridiculous.
Other than like
Good job,
I started
Larry.
explaining it. And that makes it a lot easier for people.
Yeah,
When I start doing the clues, all the clues within a minute.
that was impressive, man. You're on a roll. Once I gave you confidence by getting you that 95 a couple weeks ago, and now you're just burning through them.
It all
Oh,
started
you got
with
100.
that Goblin Bombardment.
It did.
The
Yeah,
throwaway.
so you've had 100 and 95, 100 and 100, or you're going every other 100, 95, 100, 95, 100. Impressive. I'm not even mad. I'm impressed.
Well,
Oh, all right. So I don't have any just the tips thing. We want to do just the tips now or one
I go
spec
get
at the end like we normally
can I
do?
go get a beer?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna.
You
get
deserve a beer after that one,
I
Larry.
might just get a green belt. Just do that.
All right. All right. A few minutes later,
That was 20
30 seconds later.
Yeah.
All right. Should we get into the just the tip stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
I have a perfect open for this. You ready for it?
Yes.
I don't want relationships, I just want bang bang bang. I don't want to know your name, I just want bang bang bang.
That's good stuff.
Just the tips. All right.
Now I know what AJ is going to be serenading his wife with here.
I don't want to know your name. I just want bang, bang, bang.
And then his wife's going to beat him up. And I'm sorry.
All right. So we kind of just the tipped last week a little bit, just the surface of this, where kind of we're just talking and talked about how we were getting rid of specs and whatever and all that. So I don't even know how we want to frame this, but basically we're going to go over specs that we have, when we decide we get rid of them, where we get rid of them, how we, I guess, how do you want to start it? Because I can say when I first started doing specs, my main goal of a spec was to make enough money to pay for that spec. You know what I'm saying? Like at least keep one that I got for free. And then I walked away with a free card. And that was when we started doing that, when we first started doing it, that was my goal. It has
and you have
extremely changed since then.
300 call the Gatewatch cards.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
They have not paid for themselves yet, have they?
No. I did sell when War of the Spark came out. I did sell a handful of those, but not enough to pay for 350 of those at 35 cents a piece. I think I probably sold a total of $20 or $30 worth of them.
That ain't bad.
Yeah.
That ain't bad.
What did I spend? I don't even have my calculator here to.
Like 100, 150.
Yeah, something like that. But anyways, so when I started speccing, that's kind of what my goal was, especially the beginning stuff. I'd buy a card that I thought would go up or was spiking or whatever, and I just wanted to be able to get that card for free, that I didn't ever pay for it, make enough money to pay for that card. Now it's changed quite a bit. I try to make as much of a profit as possible. A lot of the cards I spec on, I probably already own. I'd say half and half.
Yeah. You want to be able to pay for your house and your kids' college in the future.
For
That's
sure.
what you're rolling with.
Exactly. Well, it's now at a point that there's enough specs going in and out, like that I don't have. I think I said that last week, that I don't have to spend any of my money. The my money stuff where it's not from specs is like buying boxes and all that stuff. Unless I'm speccing on boxes. So that's a different animal that kind of started this year, the summer before.
Masters.
Yeah, Ultimate Masters. Was that before Modern Horizons?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Ultimate Masters was
before.
yeah. So that was the first one I did that, and then Modern Horizons did those, which I'm still sitting on those. I actually think those will go up here. I haven't even tried to sell. I only sold the big guys.
Ultimate Masters are definitely starting to catch on. Modern Horizons probably has another 6 months ish.
I'm close. I'm starting to break even with Ultimate Masters. Sold enough of that stuff now that I still have a crap ton of it, but I've been selling the bigger pieces that have gone up. Where's my good for you?
Oh, good for you.
I think there's going to be a lot of this in this episode.
Good. Yeah.
Or a lot of wah-wahs, because there is, there are...
Failure.
Yeah, there definitely is. Because the thing is I don't bail on specs very often, and that's the one problem. And I think even Fast Finance says this, is there isn't a bad spec, it's just a longer spec or something along those lines. It's just a spec.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, because that's what I basically do. Is I have my spreadsheet of when I buy the cards, and then I just wait for it to go. And so it's never a bad spec. So that Call the Gatewatch is not a bad spec.
It's not a bad spec. So it's that, and I think that may be how we start with it, of like, when do you want to get out of a spec or a card or whatever? Mm-hmm. And so generally, if you're speccing, you kind of want to avoid commons and uncommons, because they just have a higher frequency of reprint.
Yeah.
And a higher chance of just bottoming it out. Their ceiling isn't nearly as high as a rare or mythic. Like, just being able to see those cards. So when I'm looking at commons and uncommons, I do spec in them, but that's when I'm going through just commons, uncommon boxes.
Yeah, so you're buying them for dirt cheap.
I'm getting them for 20 cents average.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at a card that's like worth 60 to 80 cents, and I'm like, this is at least going to be over $1, somewhere in between $2. And so once a common gets where I can get $1 out of it, I start looking to unload it.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you say unload, are you looking at Card Kingdom, or are you looking at Card Sphere, or where's your unload spot?
So I don't.
In your wife?
I don't. I don't.
That was inappropriate.
I don't do eBay. Normally what I'm doing is I'm at least adding it into the trades. Mm-hmm. And then when I'm going and trying to buy list cards for Card Kingdom, I just go through all of my trades. So that's the general progression. and so if I can get, like, if the card's worth $2 and I can get $1.50 for it from Card Kingdom, it's a snap go. I look to try and get at least 75% on my trade in.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to get closer. And so, and the higher it is, the closer I want, like just more money out of it. So if it's $20 card and they're willing to give me 15, that's 75%. But I'm like, I can easily get more on card sphere, more value out of that.
Yeah.
But if they're offering like 18, 19 for a $21 card or something, then I'm going, okay, that's heading out to Card Kingdom. And that kind of thinking just kind of like, also for me, like that's just base level. How about I go over my base level when I start thinking about getting rid of cards? And that's just, if it's a common and it's over $1 and I have more than one, I look at moving it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's uncommon and it's over 5, I definitely look at moving it. If it's a rare or a mythic over $10, I start at looking at moving it.
But you keep the one copy for your tool. Like you make sure that you at least have one copy. And up until recently, you weren't moving. You were keeping your, you'd have at least a play set, right?
Yeah. I mean, it really depended on what the play set was, but
yeah.
Because oftentimes, so like example, Bitter Blossom. Most of the Bitter Blossom, I have 4, and I paid $20 for all of them.
Oh,
No,
good
well,
for
you know, I paid or traded $20 worth of value for them, and so moving them for $20 just isn't really worth it.
Right.
Right.
Because that's what you got. Yeah.
And so that's a big thing of just like, if you're willing to just like, I spent $1 on this common and I can get $1 for it. If you want to get out of it, then you move it.
Yeah.
But if you paid $1 for a mythic and you can get $1 for it, I would not move it.
Right. So I do a similar thing with the buy list. Mine's a little different because you do you do that generally with that's just a general thing with your commons, uncommons, mythic, and rare and everything? Yeah,
just a general base. Like that's where I start. Like I definitely want to just start thinking about moving them consciously.
Yeah. So mine goes in waves. I generally keep an eye on like spikes and all that stuff, but like
that's
talked about
something
last
different
week
as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Last week, like I said, there's a lot of cards that just gradually go up. And all of a sudden one day you're a year, 2 years later, and that card has gone up like double, triple price, but it's just gone so slow that it doesn't hit any radars. I have a spreadsheet that I keep track of. First off, the card, the set, foil, non-foil, the price I bought it for, how many, what the date was. And then once they start going, once they actually list it and sell it, then I'll start keeping track of what after fees and everything, what I made, how many I've sold, and what the recent copy is that I sold. That has helped me a lot. So mine goes off of spreadsheet because I go and I look, I'm like, okay, how much should I pay for that card?
Yeah.
And
I think that is a big part of it. Yeah.
And the thing is like buy list, I don't do as often. I probably do that 2 times a year. But when I buy list, that's when I go through the collection because then I'm trying to dump as much as I can at that point, as much that makes sense. I try to send out as much, a big order. And that's what I just did last week.
Yeah, I would agree.
Is I went through everything. And then the hard part is Card Kingdom's, they're very picky about their ratings, their grading of cards. So I try to only send them near mint or very, very light play because they really downgrade your cards, the price you get back.
Foils, they're even harder, I would say.
That is one thing where I kind of I'll look at the buy list price for Card Kingdom, and then I'll look if I have it listed at eBay or if I want to put it on eBay. See, I'll even go through all my listings that I currently have going, and I'll check and see what the price is. And that was a few of them. I got 4 cards that I had was listed on eBay that either the price was higher on Card Kingdom, even, or just close enough that it's worth just getting the card going. You know, that's money in my pocket right now instead of just waiting for eBay, you know, for them to sell. Because there's cards that I have on there that have been on eBay for 2 years. You know, the thing that they've changed with eBay is you don't have to keep relisting it like manually. It just automatically relists your cards.
That's nice.
So that's kind of been the nice thing. I have currently, what is it? 130 cards listed on eBay. Nope, 146 active. In the last 90 days, I sold 107 different cards.
Nice.
That's another good for you. But
Good for you.
oh, good. But the thing is like with the buy list, I kind of just look and see, check a lot of different things. One, has it got reprinted? Is it a reprint risk? Like, is this going to be reprinted at some point? That's another thing to kind of look at if you want to start moving a spec.
And and fully agree. So like you can go through your cards, and so like if you're buying Commander product, they do put in cards that you don't think are worth much, but end up being. I was able to get $1 for Seaside Citadel. It's the green, white, blue, comes into play tapped, land from Shards of Alara. I have 15 of them just laying around, and I kept 7, traded in 6, and got $6 for it. And the others were 50 cents, and I was like, well, that's not worth trading in. Maybe they go up in the future, maybe not. But if the card's not worth $1 to buy list, at the very least, I don't send. You know?
And that's the same thing with that's the exact same thing that I did with Soul Ring. Like, I haven't sold a single Soul Ring or buy listed a single Soul Ring until last week, because I was like, I don't need 50 Soul Rings. Yeah. I mean, I have 20 decks going, so I have a Soul Ring in each one of those decks, and then I kept 8 extra, and then I buy listed all the other ones for $350. You know, went to Card Kingdom. I was like, they're all in near mint because they're all from Commander sets, and I just sent them all in because I don't need that many. And then if I run out of the ones I have, well, I made a proxy of those, you know? So it's like, I have 30 of those Soul Rings. So you really don't, and that's what you're saying. It's a card that you get in every single Commander product.
Just fucking
and they just start adding up. And I did that with Swiftfoot Boots. I did that with Lightning Greaves. That order with just those 3 cards was about $150 or 100 and
that's
whatever.
Enough. And there's
so
enough demand for those cards that they'll stay there, but you just don't need that many. Signets, some of the Signets, non-green, were getting over $1. And I'm like, they print these in all the Master sets and Commander sets. It's just like, get rid of them, and you're essentially making money off of the buy list. And that's
a good thing too. What you had said just before is, even if you're starting a buy list order, you're already starting cards. So that's what triggers me to start going through the collection, getting those cards that are even $1.50. You send in enough of those, that adds up. Just get rid of the cards that you have a ton of, your bulk, but are worth a little bit. The thing is Card Kingdom, if they aren't really worth, you know, first off, if they're really bulk, they don't even have it on their want to buy list. But if they still have it and it's like 6 or 7 cents, I don't send those in because it's like, that's not worth it. It has to be, I think the lowest I'll get is like 45 cents, you know, then it's worth getting that card, you know, get some money for that. For me,
normally, like if I'm looking at a 45-cent card, but it's worth like $1.10, $1.20 or whatever, that's where I switch it over and just go, I could or should try and just trade this on CardSphere. Yeah. Now, Signets and those don't move a whole ton either, but I would still rather hold on to the value and just try and have each card at least worth $1 moving. Because there's that potential. I mean, when you're moving cards also matters, right? So to me, if a Commander product just came out and you're doing your buy listing, I like Signets and all that stuff is going to be lower because people are trading those in. You wait 6-8 months before the next Commander set comes out, and those cards have appreciated.
Yeah.
And so if you do it right then and then half year later, you're going to have a better chance. And that's why I hold on to those cards that are 45 cents, but others are worth $1 within that same reprinted card.
Mm-hmm.
And all it is just waiting. That's that part of what you're saying. It's not a bad spec until you move it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think I've only bailed out on like 4 or 5 specs where I was just like, I realized this card isn't going to go up anytime soon. I just want the money for it. Took a little bit of a loss. It was never a huge loss. The huge losses are the ones I'm waiting for it to go up, you know. But if I can get close to it, I'm like, all right, I'll bail on that one. Let's just get that one gone. But I don't hit those as much. I don't do that as often because I feel like every spec now over the last couple of years is a spec that I think has potential. The reason why I made the spec is there's a good reason for it. Early on, they were bad specs.
how about bad, but like just overcommitted.
Right.
So,
Well, because you get excited, you're like, oh man, this card, this even jumps up to $5. I'm in the money, and it's like, this card's never gonna get.
it's hard to move that amount of cards.
350. Yeah, even Card Kingdom has a limit if a card jumps up that much. You know, you're not moving that.
So let's talk about spikes though. Like, Card Kingdom does not care if it's spiking necessarily.
No. So that's what I had with Card Kingdom too, is if it's spiking, your best spot, at least for me, I don't know about you because I don't do Card Sphere, which I probably should do, because like you said with those the dollar ones, it's better for you to trade. For me, those aren't, because I'm paying 55 cents for that stamp. People are normally buying a single. I'm not trading in a bulk or whatever, so it just doesn't make sense for me to move those that way. But spikes, I generally try to get on eBay as fast as possible. Try to be, and when I list a card on eBay, here's another tip for people. If you're listing a card on eBay and you're trying to get, like, you're the middle of the pack, don't even list the card. Like, there's no point, because people, when they search, they look at the top like 4 or 5 cards. Yep. I typically I will get like card shops that put the image, not the actual card. I'll beat those out because I'm showing the actual card and people like seeing that. Mm-hmm. And so I could sometimes like have a higher price than those people because they actually know what they're getting. But never list a card and be the middle of the pack, because you're not going to sell your card for a long time unless you just, yeah. So I'm always within the top. If I'm not the cheapest listing, I'm within the top 3.
And this reminds me of a really good quote from Jason Holt that when we first got on Twitter, I was like, oh, that's a incredible quote, which I will just give you the gist of because I don't remember the quote anymore. It's basically, don't try and sell at the peak.
Yeah.
Because you'll never time it right. And this is very similar to the idea of the stock market. You're never going to time anything perfect. So make sure you're making your money and move it when you can.
Yeah.
You know, don't move it when you think you're going to get the most money, because at that peak, there's enough savvy people to go, I'm not willing to pay that. And your market is really a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And so when it's on that rise and there's that hype, sell it somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And I think let's see, like, really what it was is, if you're making money, don't worry if the next guy's making money
off of that. Yeah. Make what you're, and that's one thing, that mentality, because the Fast Finance says that too. And I've heard Jason say that too. So both of them.
Okay.
Make your money off of it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what it can get up to. Like, as long as you made your money off of it, just be happy with that. You want somebody to be able to make money off of it. You don't want to be the one that's like always not scamming, but, you know, taking advantage of people on spikes. You know, you want that card to spike, you get out, you get your money, and then it keeps going, and that person is able to make money off of it. It doesn't normally happen that way, but don't always try to be at the peak of it. It's nice if you can, but you never know where that card's going to go. Like, Mox Amber is probably the best example for me because I did buy into that and I tried to sell it and it didn't sell on the spike. And so then eventually I moved it about 2 months too early because then I still made money. I got my one Mox Amber for free, but that's about it. Mox Amber I got out way too early because then the next month it freaking spiked and turned into
It's a $20 card.
Yeah, I sold them for I think
$7
a piece, $6 or $7 a piece. So, but hey, I got a free Mox Amber out of it. But I am kicking myself a little bit because I do try to make a little bit of money so I can use that money to invest in the next spec. But hey, I got my Mox Amber for free, so I should be happy with that.
And going in with that, oftentimes when me and Adam are talking, and he's going, I picked up like 6. Remember Experimental Frenzy from the last? You're just like, it's like a $3-4 card. I picked up a bunch for 75 cents. You're just like, what should I sell it at? And I was like, make back your money, and then you might have a couple left over, and I don't know if that's what you did, but like, I feel like we say that to each other a ton. It's just like, make your money back, just break even if you got extra stuff.
And then hold on it. So I made, where did I get with Experimental? I have my stuff up actually right now. I made my money back and I'm still sitting on copies that I don't have listed anymore because then the price dropped.
Yeah. I mean, it's out of standard. It's probably going to be pretty rough. I can't see that getting back, but you're even. So you got cards in hand. So you have surplus. On a card like that, I don't have any issues with that. And then maybe something pops up in the future, but it's not something you got to keep track of either.
Okay. Actually, you just pulled it up. So I bought 20 of them at 98 cents a piece. I ended up selling 12 of the 20 and I profited 15.21. So I'm still holding 8 copies because then it went back down. So, but like you said, I sold it right away, got out of it, made my money, got my money back. And you don't just keep sitting on it. If you can make your money back and some, and you still have cards left over, I
think that's a big bonus.
You're winning there. Yeah. And that was the point of, like you said, when I first started doing the specs, my goal was to at least get the card, expand my collection, get the card for free, and everything else was gold. Then it started turning into, hey, I want to make money off of these and like actually pick good cards and keep this going.
I want to go back to something that we've touched on a bunch of times right now in reprints. And so I'll give an example of cards that I held on to. So like I held on to Oracle of Moldiah. It was like a $30-40 card, but got reprinted in Jumpstart. Jumpstart only came out a couple months ago. It's still going to affect the price, but there's still not a lot of like product out there. And so I looked at that card and I could have buy listed it at $20. I'm not even throwing it on CardSphere. I don't trade that high of cards at this point. I got to get more willing to probably, but I look at that and I go, the reprint just happened. I want to get further away from that. I don't think Oracle of Moldiah is something that they want to reprint a ton of,
because it's such a powerful card.
Yeah. But it's also in contrast to like something like the Signets, where they're just going to reprint those all the time. Or one card that I started moving a bunch of was Mind Stone. That's just an artifact that taps for colorless and you can sack it for drawing a card. It's getting over $1. I was sitting on like 12 of them because they're all over the place. And I just went, move it. They're going to reprint this again.
So do you remember that conversation I had in I think it was around this time last year or it was winter or whatever. Remember Propaganda? Remember what I did there? And that's a good example of what you're talking about there is I had about 6 or 7 extra copies besides my 4. I had 4. For some reason, I'm holding a play set. I don't know why. But remember, I was like, Propaganda was printed in 2016 Commander product and hasn't been printed for a while. I was like, I think it's going to be in one of the Commander products this year, so I'm going to move these. And you were like, yep, I think that's a solid idea. I think you have a good point there. I moved each of them, I think, for $9 or $10 a piece. I think it was on a Card Kingdom. And it got printed in Commander 2020. So, like,
and
that's
Mystery Booster.
And Mystery Booster. So now that card is a $5. Commander is a $4 card.
It's
I would have
listing
lost
for $2 and $3.
Yeah.
So
and it was a buy list. That's right, actually, because I got rid of them. Oh no, I did eBay. I remember everybody.
But recognizing that
quick.
Something has appreciated because it hasn't been reprinted, there's a lot of demand. If you can recognize that and just go, I should get out of this, that's you're on the ball and you're doing really well for yourself. If you're able to start recognizing that. And
you got to realize that Commander, they're going to keep reprinting this. So Propaganda, they're probably going to not print for a couple years. This will start to appreciate again. It'll go through the cycles. You just got to find those cards that you've had that have not been printed for a while. That they're not going to completely stop printing Propaganda. It's going to get printed again, but now they're going to take a little break on it.
I would guess that, and even if they don't, it's still a good card, usable card that it's fine to have a bunch of. I don't have a problem with that. That
point there, I wanted to bring up too is AJ was talking about it today, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to talk about that tonight when we talk. I've talked about that with specs before. Get specs that you use in Commander. That's the cool thing about the specs is if at the worst, if they fail, but they're a card you use in Commander, then it's not a loss. You still use that card as part of your collection. You put it in decks and all that. The worst thing that happens is you're putting it in different decks and you don't actually make money off of it. It's just a part of your decks. Mm-hmm. So spec on things that you're going to use, not cards. And that's why I don't spec on modern cards very often. I will occasionally, but
understand what you're specking on and why.
Yes.
You have reasons for why you believe a card is going to go up and why you're going to buy it. Don't necessarily buy into hype. Like if you see a card that just got printed and you're like, all these cards are awesome with it. That's different than going, these cards are awesome. You should buy them. Because if you have had the thought process on why you think these cards are good with it, you can even cross-reference with what other people are saying, but make sure that you understand why you're buying these cards. Mm-hmm. And we've had, if you've noticed multiple times throughout the years, Adam specs on coin flipping or ninjas. I'm out of it. I'm not building the deck because Adam is, even though they're probably really good buys at that time, but I'm just not thinking about that. I'm thinking about whatever deck I'm building. Mm-hmm. And so even though it makes a ton of sense to have bought ninjas, and I think I actually did buy into ninjas.
Yeah, we both did that day when they spoiled the ninja.
It was like Eureka,
we made money off of that one.
And so, but
I
understand.
I haven't had those kind of specs in a while where it's been buying into a spike. It now has turned into just because of how they've been printing things and this premium product stuff, which this is kind of new. This is new specking territory because we're getting this full art stuff and it's being printed so much that the prices just tank of cards that are normally really expensive. And so this is it's going to be interesting to see what happens because the cards that we've spec'd on over the few months here should appreciate back to where they were, if not more, because they're a special version. But we'll see what happens with that.
And honestly, between like mystery boosters / the list, Jumpstart, which was a different style of product, and Double Masters and Commander Masters, those 4 different ones had
Commander Legends.
Ton of good. Yeah, Commander Legends had a ton of really good reprints, and that's why I held on to a lot of cards. I was like, oh, that was just reprinted. Oh man, that was just reprinted. I'm going to hold on to these. It might bite me. You know, they might continue that trend of that style of reprint. And if that's the case, then specking might not be the best thing to do because they're printing a shitload of cards.
Yeah. At premium spots, at premium printings of amazing cards.
Full art,
Yeah.
full art foils, alternate arts. They're really getting into that, and they're going to make a lot of money for maybe a few years if they want to do it. And then people will start getting sick of it because it's just going to flood the market. So maybe they just do it like every other year, every 4, like what is their plan? Is their plan just to flood the market until it dies out like they had with Masters products? Or did they learn the lesson? Let it be premium every once in a while. I don't know.
Oh, that was one thing I did want to mention too with card condition. With Card Kingdom, like I said, near mint or really light play, because a card that you can sell on eBay, or I don't know how the trading is. How is CardSphere with trading with light play stuff? Is there a big?
It's generally not an issue.
Okay.
So people won't really, as long as there isn't any white along the edges, like it's gonna be, or like a bunch. If you get one little, nobody's gonna complain. But
yeah, so light play on eBay can be a card that gets downgraded to like very good or good on Card Kingdom. So cards that have a little wear on it, I just don't even put into Card Kingdom orders, and those I go on eBay. And the thing is that I'm taking the pictures on eBay. People see it, so you know what you're buying. So I very rarely get complaints. Only complaints I get are what just happened today or this weekend. I sent my Perforos Stargazing God, and the post office, I guess, decided to stab one of my packages because there's this big chunk in the packaging, and I have that thing wrapped in bubble wrap, wrapped in a piece of paper like around the hard plastic casing, in a sleeve, in one of the little foldable sleeves on top of it, and it still damaged the card. How I don't even know where to go about it with that. But anyways, that's another topic all in itself.
Actually, going back to the understanding the part, and this is maybe next level, maybe it's not, but oftentimes, like right now, Commander's a huge focus. It's moving the market, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe, again, I'm always trying to find angles, and I look for what aren't people looking at and what is being depressed. And right now it's the tournament cards, like Modern, Pioneer, Standard, Legacy for sure. All those cards, they're not being used a whole ton if they're not able to be used in Commander. And so again, this is where I'm saying like the angle to me is like look into those cards. Mm-hmm. Like Grim Flare was a $10 card last year and it was going up because of Pioneer. They never even got a real Pioneer tournament going, and COVID hits, and now it's a $5 card. So I'm like, I don't even know if Grim Flare is good in Pioneer, so I'm not buying into Pioneer because I don't know what is good there. But I understand I understand Modern enough and I understand Legacy enough that I know essentially where I could go with that if I was wanting to get into that again.
Yeah.
And so that, again, that could be where you want to look if you're wanting to make some money. If you're like, this card's going to be bonkers in Modern once tournaments start going again. So,
one thing I wanted to mention too, this is actually from John, one of our Discord members, John Hartness. Here's another option. So I have my spreadsheet and I have an idea of, as long as I'm making a profit off of it and makes sense, that's when I sell cards. John actually, when he told me when he buys his cards, he puts it in a sleeve and he writes a number that he wants out of it. So if he buys a card for like $2, mm-hmm. he wants an out of 8. So that's another way you can go about doing it with your collection is look at, I thought that was pretty smart because you can just grab the cards out and be like, oh, what's this card at? It's not quite there. I'm going to hold on to it for a little bit longer. But if you have a price that you want to get it out at, that's another idea. Like I said, I'm always waiting on my specs to hit because they're going to hit. At some point, they're going to hit.
The only other point I wanted to hit was know what your high has been for the card you want to send out.
That's a good point.
So having what you're looking at have graphs is a really good thing. So to me, I've really started getting into MTG stocks because it's a quicker it's a quicker website on my phone than Goldfish.
And Goldfish, yeah.
And it has the symbols next to what it is, and it's just a lot easier to use. It has a better tracking meter for what's going up, what's going down, like just more to choose from. So I've really been liking that. And it has a graph. It specifically tells you what its high was, when it was, and you can see if there's been, how you can track its history and how it goes. And oftentimes, if you have a card that's sitting at or near its high, more than likely you need something to get it beyond that ceiling.
So start sending your request to Command Zone so they can play it, and then it will spike.
Yeah, you need some interest in it to make it move. And so that's something to consider as well. So like in the stock market that I know very little about, but there is a way to go with like, okay, you can see how the graph is going. You can see like there's a lot more information with the stock market. And my brother was trying to explain this to me, but you have your floors and your ceilings. And so some stocks will go in between these floors and ceilings, and you can make money buying at a known floor, believing that it'll go up to its ceiling,
go back up to its
and then
ceiling.
You sell at the ceiling and then watch it go
and
to
then
the
it
floor
drops, and then,
as it's going up and down. And so there's a lot less movement in Magic cards, but if you're seeing that a card is at its ceiling and you're going to make money on it, it's probably good to move it. Again, make your money, because if a reprint hits, you're not making your money.
Yeah, exactly. One other thing, and this kind of has turned into more of like what you can look at for specs too, which is another cool part to it, is check TCG, because they will show you how many are in stock. Like that's another thing. See what the inventory is. If you're looking, like there's a couple of them that I'll get into. I think in our one spec I'll mention one thing in there, but some of this stuff will have hundreds, or there might be a wall where you'll hit somebody that has like 70 copies that they have for sale. And I've seen that with a few things here. Just check that, because that's how you can also tell if a card's about to spike, or if you need to wait, or if you should move on the card. There's a lot of different places you can check. I can do some research if you're trying to figure out if you want to sell at that point.
Back when we were talking about the Italian Legends cards like Rasputin, I bought Fiendish Duo for like $25 because Card Kingdom was sold out of them. Star City Games had one, Channel Fireball might have had one, and there was 5 listings on TCG. And
so there's a sign that was,
holy shit, there's only like 7 cards, 7 of these to buy. It's 25. I bought that one, and the next one's 32, and they were like 32 to 37. And I was just like, well, it's not going down, unless it hits a reprint here. But to me, 25 was going to be the lowest. Like, am I willing to pay that? Yes or no? You got to make that decision. But that's something. If you click on the card on TCG and there's less than one page, you need to start looking at that.
There's
So, because understand that it's going to go up. You don't have to buy it out, but if you're like, I want to play with this card, you might want to stretch what you're willing to pay on it. So, those are the notes I had.
Yeah. Diversify your specs if you can.
I mean, yeah, we're not talking in necessarily what to buy, how to buy.
Right.
We're doing the sales, so.
Because I have, to give you an idea, I have 350 plus different specs that are on my spreadsheet, because I just looked at the bottom. Good for you.
Oh, good for you.
But I have a ton compared to the beginning when I was just picking one and just putting all the chips in on that one. All the chips did not come back very well with that. But when you spread it out among a bunch of different specs that you think are going to go up, you won't pay attention to them, but eventually some of those will hit, and it's just free money at that point. When you're just focused on one, I mentioned it last week. When you just have like 1 or 2 or 3 specs, you go every day to like Goldfish or MTG stocks, and you're like, did the card move? Did the card move? When you have it spread out, you still have your babies that you look after. I go to Mirage Mirror every now and then just to see where it's at. It hasn't moved much. It's not a loss, because what are we at? Mirage, I think it's still a solid card. Let's see, a Mirage Mirror foils. I think I was getting those for 8 or less, and they're over 10 now. Yeah, so the bottom of that, you could have got them for 6. But yeah, if you listen back to our early episodes, I think a lot of my songs were about Mirage Mirror.
You had a thing for it, at the very least.
Yeah, I still
Some
am
would say
surprised
that
that
it was
hasn't
stalking, but...
But yeah, so I did get some. Oh, I got some for $475. Sweet.
I'm good at this. That was a great idea, Adam. How did I think of that?
Yeah, I got more than a double up if I sell them now, but I still think that there's an example there. I still think this has room to go. I mean, now we're Hour of Devastation. That's like what, 3-4 years out? 4 years? I think that card's still gonna rise as long as it doesn't catch a reprint, which I would only see that maybe in a Commander product, if anything.
Maybe. It's pretty bland.
Yeah. But it's a solid card.
I have my example of me being greedy. Like, we were just talking about it last week too. It's red instant, take an extra turn, lose the game at the end of it.
Final Fortune. Card
Kingdom has it for like $24 in credit to the store.
Yeah.
And I think the card's like 30, 35, 40. You know, it's kind of on that spike. It's not what they're doing. But I paid like $1.50 for the fucking card, you know, a decade ago. And I'm holding on to my 3, and I'm just like, I'm gonna get my $30. It's just like, why am I doing that?
Right.
I should just get the easy $20 out of it and be happy. And so that's one thing that I'm telling myself, because it's don't keep it, get rid of it, move that fucking card. It doesn't work in anything other than Obeka, and Obeka's on their spike.
Right. I think that's a for sure move.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I don't want to move the one copy I have.
I kept my one copy. It's in the deck. Yeah.
And did you move the other one?
No, they're sitting in a pile of cards that I need to move. But I only get Saturday to go into the post office, and the goddamn line is so fucking long because of Christmas.
Oh, yeah, because of Christmas stuff. I know. I had to do that last week for the Card Kingdom thing. I just had to do it on the day that Cindy was home, and I was like, all right, I got to go to the post office and sit for half an hour. It freaking sucks.
So, yeah, quick story. Last weekend, there was a line out the door of my post office, and I went back home, and I was like, God, I need to get this out because, you know, it was $500 worth of Card Kingdom credit.
Right.
It's like, it has to go now. I was like, okay, I'm going to I drove up into the city's 20 minutes and sent it out in 5 minutes, and then did something at the office real quick, and then came back home. And I didn't do that this weekend. I sat in line for 40 minutes. It was
40 minutes,
just as much time to drive 20 minutes away and do my mail efficiently and do a little bit of work than just sit in line near my house. It was just stupid.
That's gross.
So I'm not pleased with my post office currently.
Okay, I think that's about it for just the tips.
Should we
just
one
when you?
Spec.
Yeah, we should probably get there. I just wanted to touch really quick. Just say, do your research on stuff. Look at your cards.
Put in the work. It's work.
You know,
if you're looking to make money, work.
Yeah, I highly recommend, and that's just my personal thing. Lowry kind of savants it and has the numbers in his head. I like having the spreadsheet. I really like, personally, I like seeing it being like, this is exactly how much I made. This is, how much I spent, and seeing the numbers and all that stuff. And it makes it really easy so that when I'm looking, I'm like, oh, that card's worth this. I just go to my spreadsheet and I see, is it worth selling at that point? And I can work out the numbers in my head. And buy listing, just weigh out the differences. The one example I did want to say is if you're getting Card Kingdom credit, like if you example, a card that's $20 on eBay and Card Kingdom's willing to give you $16 for it, it might be worth going with the Card Kingdom because you're getting more on eBay, but you got to remember eBay takes a commission. They might be getting rid of PayPal though. I just had to sign up for direct deposit to my bank account. So that's a plus because you're getting double dinged with eBay and PayPal at the moment. Dings, yeah? They ding. It's not as high. eBay is 10%, and I think PayPal is 2 to 5%. So, but if you take that $20 card on eBay, eBay's taking $2. You're spending 55 cents for shipping. So it gets down to $16.50 anyways. Where you go to Card Kingdom and you get rid of it, and it's gone. That's the thing is. Card Kingdom, it takes it. Whereas eBay, like I said, I have cards that have been sitting for a couple years. That's what you kind of got to weigh out. And sometimes you may I have taken a bigger loss where it's a couple bucks, but it's moving the card. It's getting money back in my pocket. I'm still making the profit off of it. The worst thing you can really have is what I have is all this money sitting in all these different cards. That's just money. Like I'm waiting for those to hit. Mm-hmm. So, but I have all this money sitting there and all these specs. You want stuff to move. The more you can move, the more you can invest it into other specs and make money off of those. Okay. I think do you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
In the common tongue, it says one
spec
to rule them all.
Spec. Oh, I hit the wrong
one. No, this is exactly what I wanted.
Spec.
Bring them all, and in the darkness, find them.
I meant to hit the shorter one. I hit the long one.
So I'm, again, still behind, and I went back. I finally was listening to where we did this the first time, and I laughed my ass off again listening to this button. I was like, I should have said, I wanted to say right before this, play the long version.
Play Gandalf?
I want the long version to start out.
I do like the long version. Funny. I like Gandalf. Okay, so this week we have kind of gone through all our standard stuff and kind of some of the special sets. This week we're going to hit up Commander 2020. So we're going off of those. There's quite a few. Yep, that's 2020. There's actually a couple good specs in this one, but there is... Both of us had a couple of these on some of these on the list, but what is the one you finally went with? What is the spec you went with on this, Lau? You do this every time. You have like 2 or 3, and then you like go, I told you before the cast this one, but I'm going with this one.
I like to keep it,
surprise! Fresh. Gotcha, bitch.
Fresh for you. I'm still going to go with what I want, but
okay.
Like, I think
at least you're not going with something you don't want.
Some of the legends are really cheap right now, and I see them going up. So, like, I could see Calamax, Zazara, and Cathril being expensive. They're only a few bucks right now. But I'm going with Verge Rangers.
Yeah, I like that one.
It's a $1.50. It's a 3/3 first strike for 3 white color. It's white, 2 colorless. And you can look at the top card, and if it's land, you can play it if an opponent has more lands than you. This is, goes in.
It's a dumbed down Oracle of Moldiah because you don't get to play the extra land, and it has a condition on it. But you get to look at the top card. You're not showing it to everybody. Mm-hmm. It's just you are looking at the top card of your library.
It goes in every white deck. Goes in every Boros deck. And I can see this going in white-black decks as well. Black has decent, ramp. But I can see getting that.
It goes in any white deck. It goes in a
I don't think
white
this goes in
deck.
white-green.
You don't think so?
No. No,
I
they
guess
just
green would
better,
have enough
they have better
advantage.
versions.
Yeah, I guess. But consistency. It
The
adds
new
in
the new
consistency with it.
Rada is better. Like it doesn't have Air of Keld. It's the same effect, but you could just play the land without needing somebody to
have
more.
That's a good point.
So I mean, if you're really trying to play lands off the top, the card probably gets shut off in white green. So I probably wouldn't play
that's
it
a
in
good
green
point.
or blue.
Green you might have more land than most people because you're already ramping with everything anyways.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be the only. But every other color, I think you'd play it in white, blue, white, red, white, black. Yeah,
Maybe. I don't know.
maybe.
I don't know. I only
It's
have one, so
$1.50.
I haven't played it a whole ton. It went in my mono white. I just took that apart, so I still need to find a place for it.
It's in 0 decks for you. Good pick, Lowry. No, I'm
Yep.
just kidding. What are you seeing this getting up to? You're at $1.50 right now.
To me, like this is a card it's easily a double up at 3, but I can see it being a $5, $6, $7 card.
Yeah, I'd put 5 at least. Yeah, for sure.
I think 5's a for sure thing.
Yeah, 5+. I like it. I dig it.
Again, they are going to start doing more with white, so maybe it just gets outclassed. That's what I'm worried about, is that this was like the first good white card in a long time.
Yeah,
and
they
then
still
they
put
did
it
that like whatever of the Accord in Commander Legends. And I'm like, oh, that's a good card.
Mm-hmm.
And-
Well, the Achroma card is phenomenal. Not like this, but that one that we liked a lot
Ixidor's
in our top
a
10.
reality.
No, isn't it the one where you choose 2? If you have your commander out, isn't it Achroma something?
No.
What is it called? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
Yeah, it's the
Will.
I'm calling
Achroma's
it-
Will.
Yeah, that's freaking. I mean, it's not the same as this card, but I'm just saying it's a solid white card. Like,
Yeah.
they're focusing on white a lot because, in fact, my pick is also a white card from Commander 2020.
Oh, is it?
It is Flawless Maneuver.
You did go with that.
Yep. So this is the free white spell. It's 2 and a white instant. If you control your commander, you can cast without paying its mana cost. But it's a free protection. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. So this, you could do some pretty nasty stuff where you're doing a Wrath of God and making all yours indestructible for not having to pay anything extra. You're just paying the 4 for Wrath of God. The protection, the sneaky protection stuff is just pretty amazing. Right now, this card you can get on TCG for $6.50. I think they have it listed on Goldfish for like $9.
Yeah.
But this is
$6.50 would be a solid pickup. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is going to get over 10, if not reaching 15 at some point. It's already in 6,000 EDH rec decks, so white is using this card quite a bit because this is a last spring release, and it's already in that much. That's quite a few. And these freebies are pretty fantastic.
Phenomenal. They're
Yes.
all really good.
Yeah, even the green one. So the green I was very close, but you had picked that one before.
I did spec on that one because it was only like $1.50.
Yeah, and right now you can get them for 60 cents, 60 to 70 cents.
Can you?
The
Yeah, for sure.
problem with that is what I backshadowing to what I was talking about before. There are a lot of walls in that green one where there's somebody that has like 70 copies, and then there's another person that has 29 copies. And then the listings, there's about 170 total listings. So you have 170 of those, and then you have these big buy walls that you have to wait till they burn out through those. But at 60, 70 cents, that card's a buy as well, because I think at some point the green one, what it does is it prevents all combat damage from other players'
All
creatures, but
damage,
not yours.
Not
All
combat,
damage.
just damage.
Oh, yeah. But then it's not your damage.
Yeah.
Your stuff still deals damage, which is pretty solid. But anyways, Flawless Maneuver, Heroic Intervention is an amazing card. That one protects all your permanents and gives them hexproof for two. But this is a freebie essentially, and gives your stuff indestructible. Doesn't protect it, hexproof wise, but a freebie in white to give you protection is pretty awesome. So I think this will go quite a bit.
And they go amazing with Snapcaster Mage. Because you can play him for free from your graveyard if you're...
Oh, yeah, that is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So both white cards for us on the one specs. Nice.
Yeah, I think, Flawless Maneuver, that was one of the cards when I was playing Glenn. You're like, kill Glenn. I was like, Flawless Maneuver.
Oh, it was.
That was one of them. And so it's a really good gotcha card.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's a gotcha, and it's also you could take advantage of it.
Yep. So
all right. Well, that should do it for this week, right? Yeah, we're at an hour and a half. Woo! We talk a lot. All right. That should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
Sega!